system is finished. Alright, and it's the ultimate reason, like I said, is because the Most High has deemed it so through prophecy. But like I said, let's go to James real quick. Let's go to James, the 5th chapter. Like I was saying earlier, all the elites are doing with this money is basically looking out for themselves. They're not looking out for the people. They're trying to gather up all the money for themselves. That's why the country's gonna fall. Alright, you're gonna have the rich, they're gonna have all the money, and you're gonna have the poor. They're basically trying to do away with the middle class. Alright? So let me read this, and then I'm actually go to an article. Alright? This a subject that's tied into this money, okay? This is James chapter 5 verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments moth-eaten. Alright, meaning your money, or what you esteem as money, isn't worth anything. Alright? It says verse 3. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. And that's all the elite are doing. That's all the super rich are doing. Okay? Meanwhile, our people are flashing around ones and fives, tens, 20s, 50s, hundreds, which is all just paper. Alright? While they're doing that, the super rich have the actual gold, actual commodities, land, alright, animals, so on and so forth. They have actual wealth. Alright, like when you go to Job, the first chapter, it talks about his wealth. It was tangible things. Alright, land and animals. Alright, and other tangible things. It wasn't no damn paper. Alright, and that's the thing that our people got to get through their heads, but they're not. That's why 2/3 are going to die here in America. First, they're going to catch hell when the money that they trust in, which is ultimately just a trap. Alright, it's ultimately just a trap. That money that they're trusting is going to fail. Alright, they're going to continue going to Egypt for help, like Isaiah the 30th chapter says, instead of going up to the Heavenly Father and praying to the Heavenly Father. And then guess what? Egypt, whom they're going to help for, is going to turn on their ass. Alright, it's going to turn on them. Because when the so-called white man comes down like a flood against our people, he's not going to care whether you think he's your friend or not. He's not going to care whether you think he's a devil or not. He's going to come straight at you, and he's going to kill you. Alright? The line is going to be drawn in the sand, and you're going to plainly see who is with the Most High, who are his people, and who isn't, and who's the devil. Alright? So now, I already went to Timothy. Now, let's go to Leviticus 19. Alright? Because the way the so-called white man operates, or particularly focusing on his money, it's not just. That's why you always have situations like this popping up, where there's got to be a bailout, alright, or there's got to be some kind of stimulus. You always have situations popping like that, because he doesn't operate. First off, when you go to the Constitution, gold and silver is supposed to be considered legal tender or money. Okay? Does the so-called white man use gold and silver as money? No.
But very quickly, if you could answer another question, because I'm curious about this. You know, the price of gold today is $1,580. The dollar during these last 3 years was devalued almost 50%. When you wake up in the morning, do you care about the price of gold?
Well, I pay attention to the price of gold, but I think it reflects a lot of things. It reflects global uncertainties. I think the reason people hold gold is as a protection against what we call tail risk, really, really bad outcomes. And to the extent that the last few years have made people more worried about the potential of a major crisis, then they have gold as a protection.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money. Even if it had been money for 6,000 years, somebody reversed that and eliminated that economic law.
Well, it's an asset. I mean, it's the same. Would you say Treasury bills are money? I don't think they're money either, but they're a financial asset.
Why do central banks hold it?
Well, it's a form of reserves.
Why don't they hold diamonds?
Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
Well, some people still think it's money. I yield back. My time is up. Thank you.
All right. In fact, that is the same reason, or that is the very reason why they assassinated. All right. When you look into it, it's more than likely the reason why they assassinated Lincoln and why they took out JFK. All right. because both of them wanted to bring back silver and gold. All right, they want to bring back what was called, I believe, greenbacks. All right, actual gold certificates, what we used gold and silver certificates, which used to be used. All right, they wanted to bring back what was constitutional, basically, so-called constitutional, which I don't believe in. The constitutional is bullshit anyway. All right, my constitution is the Holy Bible. All right, the point being, they wanted to bring back rightful money. All right, but the elites, the higher up, they didn't want that. All right, which is why another reason why you had this guy FDR do the Gold Act in 1933, and basically went around confiscating all the gold. All right, why would they confiscate gold, but in the same constitution that they so-called trust in, that is the very thing that's considered legal money. Okay, because it's just like Bush said, Bush Jr. The Constitution is just a piece of damn paper. All right, so let's read this. I know I have a tendency to talk a lot. This is Leviticus 19:35. It says, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment." That's exactly what the so-called white man does. Unrighteousness in judgment. Okay? It says here, "In meat yard and weight or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt." Alright? Now that's talking to the children of Israel. Okay? But when you go to Psalms, the 55th chapter, which let me go ahead and go to that. When you go to Psalms 55, I believe, is it 55 or 50 and 16, I should say, the so-called white man took on the Bible for himself. All right, which is why the Most High asked this question in Psalms the 55th chapter, the 50th chapter. I'm sorry. It says here, Psalms 50 and 16. It says, "But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee." Alright, so the Most High is asking a question. What do you have to do with my commandments? Alright, what do you have to do with my laws, my statutes? Alright, the so-called white man, the wicked Esau, which is all synonymous, is profane. Alright, he's profane. So what the hell do you have taking my Bible under yourself? Alright, but guess what? He did that, so now he is accountable for everything written in the Bible, which makes sense. Going to Deuteronomy the 30th chapter, all those curses that fell upon us are going to fall upon them. Alright, all the scriptures link up. Okay, all the scriptures link up. Alright, so now let's go to this article, and I'm going to go through some more scriptures. Alright, because linked in with money is what? Food. Alright, you need money to buy food. Alright, companies need money to bring food in. Okay, so let's read this. This is in the Trumpet, the October 2011 issue, which I believe the elders read something out of this issue just recently in a sit down as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and go to this article. I just seen this article in the Trumpet. Okay, and it says here, it says, "Brace yourself for food scarcity." Alright, and that's all through the scriptures, which we're going to get here in just a second in the scriptures, but I'm going to basically jump straight to the point, which I want to bring out. It's a couple paragraphs, but let me see, make sure to get it lined up so you can see it on screen. Alright, it says here, "As our modern world has shifted from an agricultural society to an industrial and now a service and information-based culture, I can't even talk straight right now. Farmers have vanished in mass." Alright, and that is true. Okay, that is true. If you've seen that, you got Esau going so nuts as to arrest people for selling unpasteurized milk, which unpasteurized basically means it's not, what is it? It's not heated up to a certain heat and then basically cooled back down and put in cartons and bottles. Alright, which is stupid, because how the hell do you think for the past what, since the earth, since Adam and Eve, how do you hell do you think people have been drinking milk? They haven't been drinking it pasteurized. They just drink milk. All right. So Esau is crazy anyway. It says a mere century ago, 1 in 4 Americans lived on a farm, and the average farmer grew enough food to feed 12 other Americans. Today, while the population has more than tripled over to 300 million, to over 300 million, only 2 million farmers remain. On average, each one grows food to feed 140 people. Today, in the first world, which would be considered America, right? You got first world, second world, third world, etc. It says less than 2% of the population is feeding the other 98%. Guess what? That's where you got companies, primarily Monsanto, all right, that are genetically modifying food. And Monsanto has its hands on a lot of food companies, particularly farms, all right. Now, a good book to read, if you find